Hello, welcome to Drinks with Ron. We're a very special on-location episode. Beautiful Klondike Park here outside of Lancaster. Very fond of this place growing up. Takes me way back. The WPA era brick wall built down here. I used to run my police car. I had a big police car I drive around as the white trashy giant bonfire and beer parties would rage behind me. See, there used to be swing sets over here, over here, swings and slides. It was a good time. And then there was some very large trees back this way, which are now, I said, probably not real exciting for you, but for me, nostalgic as fuck. I said the WPA era rock brick type walls. Over where my Jeep is, there used to be a giant, I think that was the pump house, because over here, wait for it, bad shot. But there's a gazebo back there, and underneath that is the remains of a rock, a well, which used to feed the city up the hill. And I believe that there was a giant, there's a big cement platform over here with a giant smokestack. And you can still see the platform. It's rather large. So yeah, giant smokestack with a bridge coming across to a rickety old building. The city used to store, I believe, their giant streetlight Christmas decorations down here. I'll get you a wide shot of the whole place. Like I said, this wall was perfect size. When you were a little kid, you could jump up on it. You could run the length of it, unless some angry hippie dude, you fuck with his cooler or knock over his beer, there's some trouble there. But yeah, I'll give you me as scale. How about that? So you can see, rather large platform, made for a rather large smokestack on top. And I said we used to come down here all the time when I was a kid. That was back in the day when there was parties. My dog wants to participate, but I'm telling you all the changes here because I'm starting to get old, and I'm starting to understand some of those things. See, I remember my grandma saying occasionally she'd look out the window and look at a tree and be like, "Oh, that tree got really tall. Tree got really tall." And me and some of the other grandkids would be behind her like, "Yeah, tall tree, Grandma." But what I'm realizing now is that what she was saying by that tree's gotten really tall is that I remember when it was a sapling, and now it's it's a 15, 20 foot walnut tree. And it just basically means I realize my wick is starting to run a little short. Time marches on, and nature is sometimes a very good scale of how that's progressed. Because I said some days I don't feel particularly old. Then I see in the fucking mirror and I'm like, oh no, bro, I'm old. But you forget what you look like, and so I still most days. I go out and hit the bar, I still feel like I'm looking like I'm a 25-year-old dude, and that's not the case. That is not the case. I'll get you a shot of goddamn sunlight. That's the gazebo. The pump used to be about double that size. Flat top pump. I don't know what year they quit using that and went to the newfangled water towers, but I love this park. It's so weird because, like I said, I'm out of city limits. I'm out in the country. But since this was the city's well and pump house, somehow this is still like city jurisdiction. So I remember when I was a kid being out here for aforementioned white trash parties. And that's where my early disdain for police came from, which took a long time to get past. Because you're a little kid, everybody's having a party. In your eyes, it's a good time, and they're coming down and harassing you and you know, maybe arrest some guy who's rolling up a 70s style hooter on the hood of his Cutlass, or I don't know. Like I said, I used to drive my police car on this wall. Man, would I get some grief. Fucking like, so by 4, I'd adapted the argument that no, it's the Blues Brothers. It's the Blues Brothers car. See, I'm gonna go ramp out, take out some Nazis. Like, I was a deft little 4-year-old. But yeah, over here, I said I think this is WPA era as well. Like cement stools and tables, very dense. Back there used to be maybe, I think just one. In the middle, there was a big fireplace right there. So when I was a kid, I remember people sitting at these playing fucking euchre and drinking old style because, yeah, G. Heilman was still the 3rd largest producer by volume of beer in the United States. Yeah, Miller, I think Bush, and this rinky-dink little operation out of La Crosse. So, yeah, that's one of those things that for me, that I said this whole place takes me back to Meatloaf on an 8-track in a 2-door lowrider blasting through the park, while me and a couple other kids would run circles around the bonfire until the people standing around it drinking would get mad at us. The toilet, which smells of the same fresh raw sewage today as it did in my youth. One of the consistents of this place, honestly, the rancid raw sewage smell from a pit, which is dug there and then comes out underneath that bridge into a mushy little area, which smells like poo. I won't tell you how I know that, but yeah, there's a bend down here in the river. Used to be a couple downed trees where we got permission from that farmer over there to do some camping. So I remember riding my bike down this giant hill. Man, what a bitch coming back up it. But any hoodles. Oh yeah, there used to be a spring right over here, ground-fed spring, and there was rock stairs going down into it. Shit. That's where Jerry taught me one of my early life lessons. I must have been maybe 3. Jerry and I were down here. He's getting his own episode later, so just tuck that name away if you're a follower of the show. But across here, there was a spring, very cold, so right out of the ground, and it said steps down in. You go right out and just drink, right, scoop your hands in and drink that shit. I did it all the time. They eventually had to shut it down because, you know, runoff from the farm tainted the well and shouldn't be drank by anybody. So then they buried the fucker underground and they dumped it out the bottom where it just runs out, and it's quite a fucking waste. But let me once again digress. Let's say I'm about 3. We walk up to the well and I see a string. Curious kid. I gotta pull the string up. And when we get it up, it's a 6-pack of soda. And I look at him, and I look at him like, Jerry, let's take it. And Jerry looks up and he's like, hang on. And we see 2 guys approaching from down by the bend. A guy and his kid. And they're coming up with their fishing poles. As they approach, we're standing there with this soda, and they kind of look at us, and Jerry's like, hey, is this yours? And they're like, yeah. So he sits it down and he goes over and talks to him. He's like, hey, I was wondering, I don't want to, overstep or anything, but I was wondering if we could get a glass of it from you. See, the kid here saw it and he thought we should just walk off with it. So I'm trying to teach him a lesson that that's not what you do. That if somebody put it there, and sure shit, crickety crack, can opens, he gives me they pour some out, I take a glass, I'm the happiest little feller. We walk across the rickety jump up and down suspension bridge, which people used to terrify me with when I was a kid, because it was much more rickety than this. Much more rickety. Very terrifying. But anyway, we come back across the bridge, and I said, just happy as shit. Kid in his free found soda. What they didn't know is that until Jerry saw him coming up the other way, he was totally down with taking the whole 6-pack and getting the fuck out of there. And I think that story encapsulates Jerry in a nutshell. and tells you a little bit of the magic from this place down here. I said there was across by the Fabanzo, as I sometimes call them, there was another swing set over there, a couple of them. Us kids would run back and forth across the rickety bridge. So we camped down it there. If you've, there's a story in an earlier episode where we actually got, I'd say caught, but we had permission from the farmer to be down there. Well, a few of us did. And a whole boatload of us showed up with Red Dog and accelerant. So after the fire got going, I think a can got thrown on the fire and fucking blew up like a bomb. So the police were down here and basically said, you all gotta go. And except the Schwannis boys and the Ryder boy have permission, everybody else gotta go. Well, problem was, see, I pointed out before up here, there's a little road back there. It's private land. It's like a driveway, parkway, laneway down into the woods. Well, we had lined that whole mother father up with cars. But me arriving early, I'm the last car pinned in. So fortunately, I wasn't really a drinker at that time. I might have had a beer, but I wasn't, you know, it wasn't really my jam. So the city police, as I said, they have jurisdiction down here because somehow it's, you know, city property from the well. But he's got the flashlight and he's interviewing everybody one at a time on their way out. And finally it's my turn and I get there and flashlight and been drinking? Like, nope. You got anything in the car I should know about? I said, I got an inflatable cow in the back. To which he turned his flashlight into my hatchback where lay on its side an inflatable cow fucking utters out, and he just started laughing and he's like, you go ahead. I always loved that Andy Griffith treatment of there's in a small town there's ways to handle things and without getting ink and paper involved. I guess I'll put it that way. And it's kind of a thing I long for. As I used to hear down here, people would always tell, oh, well, in our day, you know, if the cop found you drinking, he told you to get home because your real trouble laid with your parents. That if they found out, you were way more fucked than what the law was going to do. So, yeah, that's kind of gone away, kind of by necessity. I kind of understand it. But, yeah, like I said, there's kind of a gentle kid glove way of handling certain situations which make everyone's life way easier. And that was one of them. And the other one that I had down here, as I said, private property up here, big fucking pump house right here. So if you parked your car right along this line, you're theoretically out of everyone's line of sight. You can just sit there and chill and do whatever you want. But apparently we had drawn attention up the hill. So the local police showed up again. This is my second or third interaction personally with them down here, as long as the countless earlier incidents from the early 80s. But there's a girl and I sitting in a car there, and there's a rather lot of smoke in said car. I will say that. So he rolls up to us, and before either of us can even get a syllable out of our open mouths, he says, "What's going on? Just smoking a cigarette? All right, sounds good. See you later." And drove away. And we both sat there like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what just happened is, here's your notice served that people are can see you, and maybe discretion is advised. And all right, see you later then. But I said, just adds to the magic and the majesty of this place. So I'm really enjoying it. Feeling really old. So for a rapidly warming iced coffee, I'm Ron, signing off.